Hey there, amazing humans! Welcome to Mind Matters, where we break down the brain's quirks, twists, and occasional spirals, all in a way that won't make your head spin, hopefully. Today we're diving into the fascinating and sometimes misunderstood world of mental health with a crash course on 10 common mental illnesses. It's going to be educational, eye-opening, and hey, maybe even a little funny, because if we can't laugh at ourselves, what can we do? But first, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Tell me, what's one thing about mental health you wish more people understood? Now let's get into it. First off, let's get one thing straight. Mental illnesses are not rare. In fact, according to the World Health Organization, about 1 in 8 people globally live with some form of mental health condition. That's over 970 million people. So if your brain feels like a chaotic group chat sometimes, you're definitely not alone. Now let's break it down, one disorder at a time. Let's start with the heavyweight champion of mental health conditions, depression. It's not just feeling sad because your favorite TV show ended, though that can sting. Depression is a persistent feeling of sadness, loss of interest, and low energy that can last for weeks, months, or even years. It's like your brain decided to install a dimmer switch, but someone broke it. Fun fact, depression affects more than 280 million people worldwide. And it's not just in your head, literally. Studies show that depression can shrink your hippocampus, the part of your brain involved in memory and learning. Think of it as your brain's stress sponge. That's soaking up way too much water. Depression can also manifest physically. People might experience changes in appetite, sleep disturbances, or unexplained aches and pains. It's like your brain throws a pity party and invites your whole body. But here's the silver lining: treatment works. Antidepressants and therapy, especially cognitive behavioral therapy, have shown excellent results. Remember, reaching out for help is not a sign of weakness. It's a step towards strength. If this sounds like you, don't wait for the rain to pass. Reach out to a therapist or doctor. And hey, if you're in therapy, let me know in the comments. What's your favorite therapy technique? Next up, anxiety disorders. This umbrella term covers conditions like generalized anxiety disorder, panic disorder, and phobias. Anxiety is like having your brain constantly hit the what if button. What if I fail? What if I embarrass myself? What if I forget my own name during a job interview? Been there. The science? Anxiety triggers your amygdala, your brain's fear center, into overdrive. It's like your internal alarm system keeps going off, even when there's no fire. And it doesn't stop there. Chronic anxiety can cause physical symptoms too, like a racing heart, sweating, and even gastrointestinal issues. Yep, your gut has a mind of its own, and it's not shy about sharing its opinion during stressful times. But here's the good news: anxiety is highly treatable. Cognitive behavioral therapy and mindfulness practices can work wonders. Medications, such as selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, can also help regulate those anxious brain circuits. Also, pro tip: if you've ever tried to calm down by Googling your symptoms, stop. WebMD will convince you that a hangnail is a sign of impending doom. Instead, try grounding techniques like the 5-4-3-2-1 method. Name 5 things you can see, 4 things you can feel, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. Works like a charm. Bipolar disorder. This one's like having 2 brains in one. One's an overexcited puppy, the other's a sloth on a rainy day. Bipolar disorder involves episodes of mania, with super high energy and risky behavior, and depression, with low energy and sadness. Here's the science. It's linked to imbalances in neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin. Think of it like your brain's Wi-Fi signal keeps switching from 5G to dial-up. During manic episodes, people might feel invincible, starting ambitious projects, spending money recklessly, or barely sleeping. Sounds productive, right? Well, the crash often tells a different story. Depression hits hard, leaving people feeling drained and overwhelmed. Treatment often involves mood stabilizers like lithium and therapy to help manage the highs and lows. And remember, mania might feel like a creative superpower, but untreated, it can lead to burnout or worse. Ever wondered if your brain's just extra spicy or if it's something more? Talk to a pro, and smash that subscribe button while you're at it. Moving on to OCD, which is often misunderstood. OCD isn't just liking things tidy. It's having intrusive thoughts or obsessions and feeling compelled to perform certain actions or compulsions to ease anxiety. Example: if I don't check the stove 27 times, my house will catch fire. Spoiler, it won't. But your brain convinces you otherwise. Studies show that OCD is linked to overactivity in the brain's decision-making areas, like the orbitofrontal cortex. Therapy, particularly exposure and response prevention or ERP, is super effective. ERP helps people face their fears without giving in to compulsions, which retrains the brain over time. And fun fact, if you've ever said, "I'm so OCD," but you're not clinically diagnosed, please stop. It's not quirky, it's exhausting for those who live with it. Instead, educate yourself and be supportive to those who are navigating this condition. Next up, PTSD. This isn't just something veterans experience, though they're at high risk. PTSD can affect anyone who's experienced a traumatic event, like an accident, assault, or natural disaster. Symptoms include flashbacks, nightmares, and hypervigilance. Basically, your brain's stuck in a danger mode. Research shows that PTSD changes your brain's structure, particularly the amygdala, hippocampus, and prefrontal cortex. It's like your brain's filing cabinet jammed, and now everything's out of order. Treatment is available and effective. Eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, or EMDR, is a fascinating approach that helps people process traumatic memories. It's like defragmenting your brain's hard drive. And if someone you know is dealing with PTSD, be patient and understanding. Healing takes time, but support makes a world of difference. Eating disorders like anorexia, bulimia, and binge eating disorder aren't just about food. They're about control, self-esteem, and often, a distorted body image. For example, someone with anorexia might see themselves as overweight, even when they're dangerously underweight. Science-time studies suggest a link between eating disorders and dysfunction in the brain's reward system. It's like your brain's GPS keeps leading you to unhealthy habits. Hormones like leptin and ghrelin, which regulate hunger and fullness, might also play a role. Treatment often involves a mix of therapy, nutritional counseling, and sometimes medication. Family support is crucial too. If this resonates, know that recovery is possible, and remember, you're not defined by your body or your relationship with food. Schizophrenia is one of the most complex and stigmatized mental illnesses. It's characterized by symptoms like hallucinations, delusions, and disorganized thinking. Contrary to popular belief, it's not the same as having a split personality. The science? Schizophrenia is linked to excess dopamine activity and structural brain changes. Think of it as your brain's reality filter breaking down. Treatment typically involves antipsychotic medication and therapy. If you've ever used the term schizo casually, stop. Let's normalize understanding instead of judgment. ADHD is not just about being hyper or easily distracted, it's a neurodevelopmental disorder that affects attention, impulsivity, and sometimes hyperactivity. Imagine your brain's an internet browser with 47 tabs open, and none of them are loading. Research shows that ADHD is linked to lower activity in the brain's executive function areas, like the prefrontal cortex. Treatment can include medication, therapy, and strategies like time blocking. And hey, if you've ADHD, drop a comment. How do you stay productive when your brain's a circus? BPD is often misunderstood as being dramatic. But it's a serious condition characterized by intense emotions, fear of abandonment, and unstable relationships. It's like your emotional volume is stuck at 11. The science? BPD is linked to overactivity in the amygdala and low serotonin levels. Therapy, especially dialectical behavior therapy, DBT, can help manage symptoms and build healthier relationships. Reminder, people with BPD aren't toxic. They're just navigating a brain that's extra sensitive. Let's show compassion, not judgment. Finally, ASD. While it's technically a neurodevelopmental condition, it often overlaps with mental health challenges. Autism affects communication, behavior, and sensory processing. It's not a flaw, it's just a different way of experiencing the world. Science-time studies suggest that autism involves differences in brain connectivity. Think of it as your brain's wiring being uniquely customized. Therapy, support groups, and accommodations can help autistic individuals thrive. And remember, autism isn't a one-size-fits-all condition. It's a spectrum, and every individual is unique. And there you have it, a crash course on 10 common mental illnesses. Remember, understanding is the first step to compassion. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more brainy content, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Mental health is just as important as physical health, and there's no shame in seeking help. Let's keep the conversation going in the comments. What topics should we cover next? Until next time, take care of your mind and each other. See you soon.